Live from a news hub here to Desawe in Kanda, this is News 360. My name is Alfred Okanse.
And I'm Natalie Fort. A look at the top stories this evening.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by Deluxe Paid, GT Bank,
and
Piccadilly Biscuits.
Government asked to expedite efforts in reviving rail sector and bus rapid transit system to save revenue lost to traffic jams.
A National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, says it has no warehouse anywhere in the country to store relief items when disaster strikes.
Ahead in business, Abosokaing Spare Parts Dealers Association says members will only reduce prices if benchmark values of imports capture spare parts.
And on the foreign front, organizers of mass protests in Sudan say they want
For the dream. App for the road. App to make a difference. App for the shine. App for the groove.
Watch New Day every weekday at 6 a.m. New Day is brought to you by Vodafone. The future is exciting. Ready?
The essence of a good morning show on radio is to inform you, challenge you into critical analysis of relevant issues, and definitely induce you to act and contribute constructively towards the nation's development agenda. This is what Sunrise on 3FM 92.7 is all about. I am Winston Amoa, your host on Sunrise. My conviction remains the same, that the media agenda must not only translate into a public agenda, but a policy agenda. Serve yourself with the most intellectually stimulating breakfast in Accra every weekday morning from 5:55 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on 3FM 92.7, where the discussion is always fair and square.
Welcome back. We apologize for that power glitch there that affected it. But the good thing is that we're back.
Absolutely.
Right.
Do stay with us here on News 360 for the latest of news from across the country as well as the news from the international community. Let's get started with our very first story this evening. Ghana loses billions of cedis in productive hours through traffic, translating into about 10.5% of the country's domestic product. Experts say that the time is now to expedite efforts in reviving the rail sector and the bus rapid transit system to save the huge revenue lost. George Quenin explores the impact of traffic on productivity, a cursor for nation building.
Ghana's current population is estimated to be 30.1 million, up from the official 2010 census figure of 24.2 million. It is expected that the population growth and increasing rate of car ownership will increase to over 1 million in 2023, which is likely to worsen the already tight traffic situation in the country. Currently, the highest traffic volumes are found at Kaswa, Madina, Tafo, Kejetia, Shianshi, Legon, according to the Department of Urban Roads. During the morning peak hours, higher volumes of inbound vehicles make their way to Accra Central. An analysis of the traffic situation shows that the country suffers monumental loss of productivity and income periodically. Research has also shown that, on the average, about 2.5 hours are lost to traffic every day by individual commuters who use public transport. This implies that, within a working month, 50 hours can be lost to traffic. It is also estimated that about 58 million trips are made into and out of Accra in a month, implying about 3 billion cedis is lost on a monthly basis. With all the stress, how is work affected?
The employee gets to the workplace, already 3 hours is gone. You woke up at 4 a.m., you're already hungry. This is the time most employees begin what we refer to as counter-work productive behaviors. It can affect the way you deal with customers. It can affect the way you deal with your colleague employees. It can affect the way you respond to mails.
Dr. Collins Beduajiman recommends the adoption of teleworking by employers to salvage the situation. For 29-year-old content editor Samuel Obenapa, what Ghana has failed to do is the impact assessment of this dire situation.
Mostly in Ghana, most businesses are supposed to be transacted early in the morning, and you stay in traffic for close to 2 hours. In effect, your business partner or the prospective business client thinks you are not even serious. You go there, and because of the traffic, the most important things you're unable to talk about because you have limited time to do the business.
Client service executive Anita Bakansika, who spends close to 3 hours on the Kaswa stretch to reach her job destination at Cantonment, often requires extra time to compose herself before work.
It makes productivity slow. For instance, you are demanding money from a client and the person is coming all the way from Kaswa. The person will tell you, because of traffic, I'm not even coming. So you have to even send a motor rider, which is not even safe. Or you end up, the person, sit on motor, meet the person halfway and take the money, all because of traffic.
Gilbert Abeku Santana, who is CEO of Kaya Tours and a travel and tour expert, never mince words on the rippling effect of traffic on the job market.
Obviously, as an employer, you'll not be happy because your staff did not turn up on time due to hectic traffic. You cannot also take punitive sanctions against them. And how many people can live close to the central business district because the cost of accommodation is expensive and they have to join public transport. Even apart from that, if they are driving their own vehicle, they will still join the traffic because we don't have a public transport management system.
According to him, an effective running of the public transport system is the only option to dealing with the stress and loss of productivity.
There's going to be challenge on our roads, and the cost of maintenance of our road is also higher than what would be the cost of maintenance with the sea transport. What would be the cost of maintenance with the railway transport? It is far cheaper because the bitumen, the quota, the more tonnage and weight that goes on the road, it depletes with time. But, so our leaders should consider these options, and I think it's going to help us.
In 2013, for instance, scholars also published findings from a research survey in Kumasi, which showed that mobility of people is restricted due to traffic congestion, causing excessive travel delays, particularly during peak hours, and negatively affecting productivity. This is what commuters, especially workers, go through during the peak hours. That's between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. on weekdays. Considering the fact that there have been projections in the increase in population growth and car ownership, it behoves on government to adopt stringent transport policies, including mass transport, to reduce the pressure on private car usage. We can also talk about the revival of the bus rapid transit, that's Ayalolo, to check the traffic situation in the country. And so from the N1 highway, Josh Quinin reporting for TV3.
It's a hustle of the city, isn't it? But away from that, victims of flood and disasters, other disasters, may have to brace themselves up for delayed relief support, as NADMO says it may not be able or be in the position to extend help for lack of resources in the institution. The National Disaster Management Organization says its 34 million cedis debt, coupled with lawsuits, has rendered it quite limited in the fight against disasters.
Time of the audit, there was no fire policy at the NADMO headquarters, like the auditors said.
The stark difficulty the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, has been bedeviled with.
There was a debt of 34 million of relief items, of which we are still paying. And therefore, when you write to finance to give you money to procure new items, finance will give you money, but you have to use majority to pay for the 34 million, which, as I sit here right now, I have about 28 court cases.
The rains are in earlier than expected, and many have already been displaced. The very existence of NADMO as a relief organization has been threatened.
NADMO, as a state organization, do not have even a single warehouse in this country. Even at the headquarters, we have something small that we keep, small things. The rest of the things we buy, we keep them in national security warehouses, even at the headquarters. So going to the region, there's no region in this country where we have warehouses that we can procure relief items and keep for the organization.
Appearing before the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament on infractions in their books in the Auditor General's report, the Interior Minister Ambrose Derry says despite the shortfalls by the organization, it has been able to provide relief victims in need.
I heard that a number of lives have been lost, and the first reaction that we should have taken is to go around to see what we can do. But of course, we have to come and attend to this. With the Director General, we're going to see what we can do. I'm going to finance to see whether we are well suited to get these things done. But of course, whatever we do won't bring about the lives of these people. So I would like to express our condolences to the families that have been affected.
In need also to appear before the Public Accounts Committee on Monday was the Petroleum Commission, PSC Tema Shipyard, and the Shippers Council.
Now, MP for 2nd Andrew Kofi Ejapa Mercer says the 3 girls who were kidnapped in Takoradi must be brought to their families if the police claims about knowing their whereabouts is true. 2 weeks ago, the Police Criminal Investigations Department revealed it has, in partnership with the Bureau of National Investigations, established the whereabouts of the 3 Takoradi girls, but nothing has since been heard about them.
The Police Criminal Investigations Department, CID, is under pressure to produce the missing girls in Takoradi 2 weeks after the CID boss indicated they know their whereabouts.
We've worked very well, and currently we know where the girls are. We are working hard together with other stakeholders so that these girls are brought back home safely. The assurance to the family is that they should keep on keeping on. The ladies, we know where they are and they are safe. So very soon they will be brought back home and they will go back to their family.
But days after the April 2 press conference by the CID, the girls are yet to be reunited with their families. Many have questioned the rationale behind the CID boss's motive for putting out that sensitive information when the girls are yet to be brought home. Speaking on TV3's New Day, 2nd Member of Parliament Ejapa Mercer said the 3 girls must be brought to their families if indeed the police claims about finding them are true. He added the calls for summon of the minister is in the right direction, emphasizing the girls must be reintegrated with their families once they are found.
Some closure ought to be brought to this matter one way or the other. If you know where they are, then the assurance that I get from that statement is that they are alive. Right. If they are alive, Why are they where they are as we speak?
Okay.
They ought to go back to their families.
You
I've heard the Minister of Gender also say that the police are on top of the game. Of course, the police is under the supervision of the Interior Ministry. And so it may be useful for, if not the entirety of Parliament, for the Committee of Interior and the Gender people to get together and get the ministers to answer some questions.
Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram, Sam George, agreed that the police must answer and justify their announcement on the girls, expressing confidence in the quality of the Ghana Police Service.
There needs to be a certain decision that, look, this ends now. This ends this week. If we think that the girls are being held in such a position that, and again, I doubt it, but that the Ghana Police Service does not have the ability, the Ghana Armed Forces does not have the ability to go in and retrieve the girls and guarantee their safety. We have multilateral and bilateral relations with some of the countries that are experts at hostage situations. We should have reached out to them by now.
Priscilla Blessing Bentum, 21, went missing on August 17 last year at Kansarodo in the Efia-Kwesiminti municipality, whilst Ruth Love Quason, 18, went missing on December 4 last year at Butumajebu Junction in Sekondi Takrade. The third victim, Priscilla Kranche, 15, went missing on December 21 at Ngrofo. One suspect, Samuel Udoetuk Wills, is currently standing trial for escaping police custody.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been over 220 days that the first girl went missing. Albert Yangi is the national coordinator, network coordinator of the Ghana office of the West African Network for Peace Building, security analyst. He joins me on the telephone for a conversation on this. I thank you, sir, for your time this evening. If you can hear me now. It's been 2 weeks since the CID boss made this categorical statement. We know where they are and they are safe. Is it fair to say that the demand for the CID to come out and tell us where they are is indeed in the right direction? We'll try to raise him on the telephone again, but indeed, this particular call is coming 2 weeks after COP Mohamed Tiwado Dankwa made that particular statement at a press conference that indeed the girls are safe. So go on, can you hear me now? Hello, sir.
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. I was asking if it is indeed fair to demand of the CID 2 weeks after the CID boss came out, make that categorical statement in the public domain that, look, we know where they are, the girls are, and they are safe. Should they be telling us something more after 2 weeks?
Yes, good evening. I think that basically the demands are in place because it's been quite some time that we have been waiting anxiously to know where these girls are, whether they are safe, what they are doing, and all of that. And so the demand to have more information might be in the right direction, but maybe how we do this is also very important in order that we do not put out so much information in the public domain that these kidnappers may also, who are monitoring all the media communication, you know, and doing all their investigation to also know whether they are being tracked, you know, and whether they are being able to navigate all the trappings of the security to get the girls released, might get to know such information and may re-strategize. So I think that the demand right in place, especially that when the CID boss did indicate that the security knew where the girls are, you know, and for about 2 weeks we are still waiting to have information. But so let's be very cautious. Such activities are done in a way that, you know, it can be difficult for the security to be able to just immediately get, you know, a hold of the situation. So she indicated it might be that, okay, let's strategize very well in order that we do not endanger the girls who might be in the custody of the...
But on the bit of strategy, respectfully, Mr. Yayangis, you made the point that the kidnappers would certainly change their strategy if we put out too much information. But the CID boss coming to say, look, we know where they are and they are safe. Is that not enough information to the kidnappers to have re-strategized and maybe even change their location? If what you're saying is anything to go by.
Like I indicated earlier, for us, our demands, should be done in the information coming, in response to our demands, should be done in a way that does not also put the girls in danger. I would expect a certain level of decorum, let me say, retrospection, in dealing with this, that we are not just giving all the information out there. Much as probably we think we might be trying to let the general public know that we are on top of our game and that we are working in terms of ensuring that every Ghanaian and every resident in this country is safe, and is not kidnapped. We should do so in a manner that just a select few might be interested, might be relevant in giving out this information. For instance, I would expect a kind of bilateral communication to the families of the victims, and also some key people or groupings. For instance, if Parliamentary Caucus on Security would require this, then that select group, is giving the information. So bilateral communication, it would be appropriate for me at this time.
But do you even believe the statement, really? There are many who have had reason to doubt that statement from the CID boss, that they know where they are and the girls are safe. Where you stand, do you believe that?
Hello?
Oh, Mr. Young, can you hear me?
I could not get the question you asked.
I was saying that some have cast doubts on that particular statement by the CID boss, that they know where the girls are and they are safe. From where you sit from the security perspective, do you believe that?
I think they could also be right. The other thing could also be that if the kidnappers who are monitoring every communication and information that is put out there, and anyone and observing their trails, by anyone, could probably also have more information. And once they have snipers of it, and if at that time the security is really not in control, in terms of cordoning them and making sure that there is no way they can escape or whatsoever, they could as well re-strategize.
Okay.
So there are two things that probably we have sent out so much information that might have informed the kidnappers to re-strategize, and also that it's very difficult, sometimes to be able to do this in a manner that you do not endanger the lives and safety of the people.
Thank you. Albert Yanyangis is the national coordinator of the Ghana office of the West African Network for Peace Building. Stay with us here. Also live here on News 360. We'll be back shortly after this quick break. Do stay. Hello, good evening and welcome to the business news segment here on News 360. My name is Kwesi Asare. Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority has begun the implementation of a fixed exchange regime at the country's ports. The Bosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association told TV3 although they are enjoying this benefit, they will only reduce prices if the reduction in benchmark values of imports announced by the Vice President captures spare parts. My colleague George Quenin has more.
The fixed exchange rate regime has ensured the pegging of the dollar at 5 cedis, 08 pesos at the port for the purposes of trading for the next 3 months. It implies that stakeholders will benefit for the next quarter until another review is done. Key stakeholders, including importers, have lauded this move as a relief for their businesses.
Prior to this announcement by the Vice President, Guta, which Abosokai is part of it, had met Council of State, Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of Trade. And as part of the recommendations that we put out there, we suggested that the pegging of the dollar, either quarterly or 6 months, will go a long way to help us, because it will enable you, the businessman or the importer, one, to make projections, and also to plan, and also to make prices a bit stable.
Despite the relief, co-chairman of the Abosokan Spare Part Dealers Association, Clement Boatin, warned there will not be a reduction in prices until the reduction in benchmark values on import captures spare parts.
Currently, goods that we've cleared since the announcement was made, we are not enjoying we are not enjoying the 50% reduction. We are still paying what we used to pay. So, if it is implemented, and we also come into the picture and we enjoy the 50%, I promise the public that we will definitely reduce our goods.
Meanwhile, the association is to meet with the Ghana Revenue Authority on April 17 to explore whether the reduction in benchmark values of imports will capture spare parts. On April 3, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia announced an immediate drastic reduction in the benchmark values against which duties paid by importers are calculated. The benchmark or delivery values of import, with the exception of vehicles, effective April 4, have been reduced by 50%, while that for vehicles will be reduced by 30%. Vice President said the measures were designed to reduce the menace of smuggling and make the country's ports more competitive and attractive.
Away from that, Director General of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, Dr. John Ofori-Tenkran, has assured contributors of a more robust system that has been instituted to safeguard investments made on their behalf. Now, according to him, the trust will employ continuous auditing to ensure efficiency, a measure which has led to 6,000 ghost names being deleted from its systems.
Rigorous auditing by managers of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust in the past 18 months has saved the country over 40 million Ghana cedis. According to the trust, it has successfully deleted over 6,000 ghost names from the pensioners database as of April 10 this year, amounting to a whopping 40,761,729 Ghana cedis. The amount, SNIT indicated, had been withheld from going into wrong hands. Deputy Director General for the Trust, Laureate Koko Ochiri, said a payroll audit department had been set up to deal with ghost names and other fraud-related cases. Director General of the Trust, Dr. John Ofori-Tenkran, maintained that SNIT had a collective responsibility to ensure that employers paid contributions on the right salaries for all workers.
We also use the power of prosecution that we have, it's granted to us by the law, to wave that in front of employers and say that, look, if you don't pay, the law allows us to take you to the courts, for the courts to enforce that you pay. And I think in general, when we wave that stick in front of employers, by and large, they do comply. In other words, you cannot, as an employer, you can't come to my staff and say, I'll do a deal with you so that you quash the summons. Staff know that they are being monitored, so that's one of the reasons.
He says measures are being put in place to increase the level of interaction with contributors.
We are engaging a lot now on electronic channels. You will see that our presence on various electronic media is increasing. We are tooling up to make sure that a lot of functionalities that you can have, services that you can have in a SNIT office, can be done through our website. So very soon we'll release a new website. We will also release features that will allow you to check your contributions on the website. Right now we have it through a portal, a special portal, but it will be rolled out such that it's available on the website. We're going to be developing apps on which you can download through the Play Store or whatever, and that would allow you, with appropriate securities, to be able to allow you to check all the, to get all the information that you want regarding your account. You can pull it through your mobile apps.
According to the trust, an amount of 2.8 billion Ghana cedis was collected as contributions in 2018. The figure represents an increase of over 418 million Ghana cedis from 2017, in which 2.382 billion Ghana cedis was collected.
Well, thanks very much for watching. That's all for the business news segment here on News 360. My name is Parkus Yatsari. For more business news stories, you can log on to our website, 3news.com. Over to you, Alfred. Akwesi with business. Let's get into the presidency, where the paramount chief of Techiman, a traditional area, Nana Osiadeyo Ekunfi Ameyao IV, says residents of the newly created Bono East region will always continue to show appreciation to the president for the creation of the region. He made this known when he held a durbar in honor of President Akufo-Addo at his palace in Techiman on the second day of the president's tour of the Bono East region.
Regional Coordinating Council Office, no. Where you say, Ama CFA Regional Office, ACSO. So, and I may be the cars in what trade and buy.
According to Nana Osiadeyo Ekunfi Ameyao IV, the chiefs and people of the region have always advocated for the creation of Bono East. He was appreciative of the fact that it was under the tenure of President Akufo-Addo that their wishes were fulfilled. Nana Osiadeyo Ekunfi Ameyao IV thanked President Akufo-Addo for presenting 8 new vehicles to the Bono East Regional Coordinating Council.
Schools normally Ebeboa, Techiman, Pransa, Kentampo, Yeji, Abasi, Wiase, Amante, Yeji, Ekwesi, Isuonano.
The Techiman Manhene added his voice to calls for a relook at the length of the mandate for presidents of the Republic.
Your constitution 4 years, no, and Yamaye. See a bet to me, a mommy and Pekwa being fasos and another boya, and also so young who be Namquan and him, Seviesia, near Yakwana, ye development, no, ye to me, and ye Mokoto Ababonia, Motoma Mamo, Moto Abapaswa, Motoma Mamo.
Welcome back. On the international front tonight, organizers of mass protests in Sudan have told the BBC they want the full dismantling of the deep state left behind by ousted leader Omar al-Bashir. Spokesman said leaders of the past regime should be put on trial. Mr. Bashir was toppled by the army last week after 30 years in power, and a military council has pledged elections in 2 years. But protesters remain camped outside the army headquarters in the capital Khartoum, demanding a civilian administration. In efforts
And some more international news. A fire has broken out at the famous Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris and has spread rapidly across the building. The cause was not immediately clear, but officials say that it could be linked to renovation work. Images on social media show plumes of smoke billowing into the air above the 850-year-old Gothic building. Last year, the Catholic Church in France launched an urgent appeal for funds to save the cathedral, which was starting to crumble. Officials say a major operation was underway to tackle the blaze, which broke out on Monday afternoon. An area surrounding the building in central Paris has been cleared. More international news on our website. It's 3news.com. Coming up is entertainment news with Miriam.
Hello, it's a Monday and good evening. Let's do some entertainment news tonight. Now, some fans believe Strongman's creativity was stifled whilst with circus music. On the other hand, some doomsayers have suggested that Exeton circus music could crash Strongman's career. What do you think? Will that happen? Or maybe Strongman is on his way to better days.
Sometimes the best in the game are actually not the best at coaching the game. There is no doubt that Sarkodie is a fine rapper, but you see, it is not easy molding a talent. And himself, people like Hammer contributed to Sarkodie's success. The question is, does he have the same coaching skills as these people? Because raising a talent and being a talent are two different things. Who knows? if things are not working out, the best thing is to break. So even if it's for 10 years and you realize that in 2 years things will work out, I think it's better to break than to wait for the fall of 10 years.
I didn't like the ideas Strongman signing to Sarkodie in the first place. I thought maybe another label would have been better for him. And Sarkodie and Strongman's vibe doesn't really click. If you listen to their music, you see the vibe is not really there. So the contract terminating, I'm not surprised. Strongman is now mainstream. He should be able to survive on his own. He doesn't need a Sarkodie to better himself up.
Maybe under Sarkodie, he may not have been getting the opportunities that he wants, and he feels that when he leaves the umbrella of Sarkodie, his shine may come. And in some instances, it happens. Artists leave, and then they tend to perform very well. They get their chances to do what they want to do. So if that is the reason, then fine.
Sometimes it's pride that pushes us back. You feel people are saying Sarkodie is overshadowing, so you want to terminate it. No problem. If you still think you survive, then you can still go and survive. Kelvin Boy is still doing what he can even say, Stonebwoy, I want to leave Beam Nation, but he's still Stonebwoy. So if he has terminated it and thinks he will still survive, that's up to him.
Well, if you have an opinion, you know what to do. You can always share it with us on our social media handles. Now, moving on to Talented Kids. The Inshira Band and Gershon Gada, also known as Skonzi, suffered eviction this week on Talented Kids. Here are some excerpts from Sunday's eviction show.
What else?
Wow.
It's been weeks of fun and exciting entertainment from these young talents who are geared up to wow guests and viewers. Tour Day dancers, Joycelyn Suman, amazing guys, Prince Autry and other great talent were just amazing. Then came the announcement for contestants who had to say goodbye. At this stage, it was obvious, knowing that Inshira Band and Gershon Gada both had yellow cards, meaning they were up for eviction.
Tonight, something didn't go that well for you guys, and it didn't favor you. But that should not deter you from keeping on.
Inshira Band, Skonzi GH, this is where we say goodbye to you.
Catch a train at Studio B next Sunday at 4 p.m. prompt.
You left for the city many years ago. Promise to come back.
Well, let me also add that you have a part to decide which of the evictees comes back into the show, because there's an app on Google Play Store. Talented Kids app. Go on there and vote your favorite evicted contestant to come back. That's about it for Entertainment News tonight. I'm Miriam Osei Ajima. There's more news on 3news.com. And before we go, congratulations to all award winners of the Folklex Awards that happened last Saturday.
Great. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, congratulations to you and many bright Kwesia Sempa.
Grace Amwasari, Winter on Union FM and Asempa
Winter.
as well.
I've never known that gentleman's real name, but it's always amazing getting to know that you out there spend 60 minutes with us. We're extremely grateful. My name is Alfred Okansi.
I'm Natalie Forrest. For a lot more news, do visit our website. It's 3news.com. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely evening.